So as y'all may have already figured out, I am bringing to y'all a perm rod set video and a tutorial on how I perfected my perm rod set for the first time ever. Starting off with freshly washed hair, freshly moisturized hair. I have my hair in band 2 knots just to let it dry just a little bit. These are the two types of perm rods I'm going to be using, just because these are the only two I have right now. I'm also going to need a clip. You're going to need some type of detangling tool. You're going to need some type of mousse or curling foam, whatever is your choice, as well as a spray bottle, a rat tail comb, and I guess a comb. I'm going to use the spray bottle as needed. I used it just in case some parts of my hair was a little bit dry. And I'm not sure if you can really tell here, but this part of my hair did dry a little bit. The back of my hair, or should I say the edges of my hair, tend to dry a lot quicker than the middle or the crown portion. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to do when I take down the band 2 knot is just spritz my hair a little bit. The only thing in this bottle is water, and I guess I figured out why I have this comb. This section was actually a big section. The thing I did was use my wide tooth comb to kind of go through it first, and then I'm going to proceed on how I'm actually going to part my hair, just using my finger to do my perm rods. So for this section, because it was a little large, I decided to section it off into 4 smaller sections. I just used my finger. I made a part going across, and I made a part also going down the back, and I divided the bottom portion into 2 smaller portions as well. Depending on how big each section is, depends on how many parts you're going to section it off into. You're going to apply your mousse from root to tip. Make sure it's evenly distributed throughout your hair. You're going to take your detangling tool and comb through that section or brush through that section just to make sure it is completely detangled. That step is very important. I'm wrapping my hair around the perm rod, making sure my hair is as straight or holding it as tight as possible. And I'm going to begin rolling my hair up the perm rod, ensuring that my hair is nice and flat. You have to ensure that you roll over the tip of the hair or the beginning of the hair, that portion that you laid flat. You're going to continue to go up and use your hand in like a circular motion to create that coil method. And when you get to the base of your hair, you're going to do that one more time. And notice how I am closing my perm rod as close to my root as possible. So I'm going to go through this nice and slow, up close and personal, about 2 or 3 more times. So just continue watching, because each time I'm going to have a different tip for you. So again, going through the first couple steps, applying your mousse, detangling, and then we're going to begin wrapping the hair around. Here we go here. I'm wrapping my hair around nice and slow. I bring the perm rod down a little bit just so I can get it back around the end of the hair, wrapping it nice and flat, making sure it's nice and tight or straight as possible. Then I'm going to start my circular motion with my hand, and I'm going to continue to go up, keeping it, like I said, nice and taut, as they would say, and continue to do that all the way until I get to the root. At the root, I do that little twist one more time to ensure that it is nice and secure. And then I'm going to close my perm rod set. Remember, close it as close to the base of your hair as possible. Okay, so here we go again. This time I am using the pink perm rod, and a tip for this time around is to ensure that you start the furthest to the bottom of the rod as possible, especially if your hair is a little longer, because you want to ensure that you have enough space to roll the hair to the top of the rod without overlapping. I do want to mention that everyone here is different. I have low porosity hair, so my hair takes a while to dry. But at any point that you feel like your hair is not damp, you can use that spray bottle with some water to just dampen your hair. Here's another tip. In this part of the clip, you're going to see that my hair a little bit, it seems or appears to be a little frizzy. Like some of the strands are not as taut as the rest. So as you can see, I'm just going to run my hand down to ensure that those pieces of hair are nice and taut around the perm rod as well. And this will ensure that your curls come out nice and smooth. Here is where you're going to see, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, you want to ensure that when you clip your perm rod together, you get it as tight to the root as possible, because as you can see here, I did not do that, and you could kind of see the slack that I have between the rubber band part of the perm rod and my root. So of course I had to go back and kind of retighten it a little bit. You don't want to put it too tight, but I kind of retightened it and I reclipped it as close to the root as possible. So now that we gotten through our up close and personal tutorial portion of the video, I'm going to finish inserting my perm rods in the rest of my hair. When I come back, I will be all finished, and then we'll get down or get into the takedown method. Now that it's all done, you want to make sure before you get into taking down this perm rod set that your hair is completely dry, because I could tell you now, your perm rod set will not come out right if your hair is not completely dry. The first step of the takedown process is to add the oil of your choice to your fingertips, to the palms of your hands as well. and this will help with the takedown process to minimize the frizz. Do y'all see how perfect it came out? And check out how it just bounces right back. But anyways, before I get into the little slow motion of how I did my takedown, I just had to give a shout out to KamoruKollections for this reversible bonnet that I designed myself on the website. This bonnet fit perfectly around my perm rod set at night, and all the details will be down in the description. So we're going to get into our little slow motion video here. So the first thing you do, of course, is unhook the perm rod, and then you want to unroll it a little bit. And after that, you're going to use one hand to just kind of hold the curl at the top, and you're going to use the other hand and you're going to unravel in the direction in which the curl is already going. Very important. Again, unravel in the direction in which the curl is going, and you should be able to take that perm rod right on out, and it shall not disturb the curl. Man, I just cannot get over the way these curls are just bouncing back so lovely. But anyway, I do want to point out to you guys as well, right when I'm taking this one down, the end of the curl, the reason why it is so neat at the end is because of that technique that we use. When we were putting the perm rod in, we ensured that we had the ends nice and flat and tucked under, and that will make a big difference in your perm rod set. I'm going to finish taking out the rest of my perm rods, and then I will get back to you guys when I am all finished, and we'll move on to the next step, which will be separating your curls. Even when you start for the separation process, you want to do the same thing you did before you started taking it down. You want to apply some oil to your hair. I'm sorry, some oil to your hands so that you can minimize the frizz in your hair. Now, at this point, I feel like this part of the process is probably the most important because you could have done all that work and you can mess it all up right here. So pay attention closely. The first thing you're going to do is hold the hair at the base, and you're going to gently twist your hair in the opposite direction of the curl. Then you will notice that it will naturally separate. At the part that it naturally separates, you're going to gently bring your hair down, your hands down the hair a little bit, and you're going to gently pull it apart. You're going to use your index finger and wrap the hair around your finger in the direction of the curl. I purposely left this clip in the video because I wanted to show you guys any and everything that could happen when you're taking down your perm rod set, and equip you with the necessary tools needed to fix some of these things that may happen. So as y'all can see here, the ends of the hair, it looked like I had two curls in one, or whatever the heck was going on. So all I did was I went down where it was naturally separating, and I separated it a little more, and I used that same method, twirl the ends of the curl around my hair, and voila, there we have it. I'm going to take y'all through this process nice and slow again. Start with twisting the hair in the opposite direction of the curl. Once you see where it is naturally separating, you're going to use that part, and you're going to gently pull apart the curl. you're going to use your index finger and twirl the hair around your finger in the direction of the curl. And voila, magic. The key to separating is taking your time and being very patient. Depending on how much volume you want initially will depend on how much you separate it. For me, I like my style to last at least 5 to 7 days. So I don't separate my hair initially because I like the volume to progress over time. If you're someone who likes instant volume, then by all means, you'll separate it as much as you want until your heart is content. Okay, so we have just one more step to this process. It is the fourth and final step. So I'm just going to finish separating my curls and I will get back to y'all with the last step. So the fourth and final step is the fluffing process. Now I've seen people do this part very different. I've seen some people just fluff. I've seen some people fluff and use heat to stretch. Me on the other hand, I prefer not to use the heat and I'm just going to use the fluffing method. So what you're going to need for this portion is your good old pick, and all you're going to do is, as you can see what I'm doing, I'm holding the curls toward the middle or toward the end, and I'm just kindly taking my pick and just sticking it in between and just giving it a little wiggle. There's no real blueprint to this. I mean, I feel like this part is one of the parts where you kind of use your own judgment. You will fluff and pick until you feel like you are content with the amount of volume that you have. This fourth and final step, I feel like, is the easiest part of the process. I feel like it does not involve too much technique. You could be a little less careful when you're doing this. However, you just do not want to disturb the curl. So when you are picking, you want to place your pick more towards the root than the end of the curl because you don't want to pick out your curls. So I just continued fluffing until my little heart was content. I went back in and separated as I feel was needed. And this is the result of my perm. I say, y'all, I'm so shook by these results. It just came out so perfect to me. The definition, just everything. And I'm just happy that I was able to share with you guys exactly how I was able to perfect my perm rod set. I want you guys to let me know what you think of the video. Let me know how it was when you tried it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave me some comments down below. And I will see y'all next week.